but it was not, I didn't write to every single person. I only wrote to people I already knew. So it couldn't have been, it'd have to be, I don't know. I really don't remember what the number is. Did I give it a number when I was reporting it out?
Well, I thought it was a heck of a lot more than 50.
Okay, I think you might be confusing it with, then when I spoke in San Diego the following year, I wanted to do something wow. So I secret shopped every single person that had registered.
No. It was the handwritten notes. I thought it was more like 500. I thought it was something really pretty.
It wasn't 500. I really, truly do not remember. It's a lot, but it was not everybody coming, because I only wrote them to people I knew. So it couldn't have been 500.
Can we say 150?
Sure.
Okay, good.
It was a lot. I just don't, it's been so many years I can't remember. Yep. I did them for nights and nights and nights. There was a lot of them.
Okay, so I'm moving on here. All right, going back to where we were. So what advice would you give to aspiring speakers?
Okay, and did you want to go back to where you left off that you never got the answer to? You asked me when was the next paid check.
Oh, yes, that's right.
After that $1,000. Do you still care about that?
I do. So you chase down the organizations in your industry, 36 letters to state associations.
Right. So then in 2000, the following year, I jumped up to $25,000 in 25 speeches. So I was at about $1,000 a gig at that point, from all different directions.
So, did you get those from the letters?
It started there, yeah. But I chased some other stuff too. But most of them came from the letters. In fact, I bet you, making this up now, at least 15 of them came from the letters, would be my guess.
Okay.
The letters were the pivot point.
And where did the other 10 come from?
Things I chased down.
Like, what do you mean?
So, I would see something in the paper. There was a women's leadership event in a town near us, and I had seen that early on, or in the year prior. So I had called up to see if I could speak the following year. And they said yes. So that had nothing to do with eyes. That was me just looking and chasing things down.
Okay. Any others other than a woman's leadership event?
Let me see if it says what else is here.
Did that journal help you?
Oh my gosh, I update it every year. And so on my journal, I show, this is what's in it. If I was sending it to you, this is what you'd see. It tells you approximately how many people I spoke to for the year. Now, I quit doing that after a while, but in the early years, I would kind of add up the audience really quick just on, visually kind of count them out and keep track. So I kept track of the amount of money, the product sale, the gross income, the net income, the average per gig, and then I always set goals for myself. What was the goal for the year and how close did I get to it? And what helped me with this is I was able to realize tweaks I needed to make. For example, I used to give a lot of stuff away. I was really big into door prizes and gift giving, and I started to realize that my net profit wasn't as high as it should be, and so I really changed my strategy. So I quit sending really expensive media planner gifts, and instead sent them, I'm making this up now, but let's say $25 gift cards to Starbucks rather than a $150 fruit basket. I just started to look for ways. I used to make tons and tons of copies of things. So I changed it, and, once we went digital in life, I would send them the PDF and make them make the copies. All that stuff added up. So it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep.
Okay.
So the journal helped me with that, because I was able to see, oh, yeah, that would be,
That was a bad idea, or that was a good idea.
Exactly.
Okay.
And now, how many people can whip out a piece of paper? This thing's about 27 pages long. I don't know too many people that can probably whip out and give you the bullet points month by month of their entire history.
But again, I go back to how it helped your business.
Because every year, when I've gotten a little lax the last couple of years, but when I'm on top of this, in December of every year, I create my market plan for the following year. And I read through this journal from start to finish every year. So it reminds me, if there was something I was doing in 2002 that was kicking ass, I'll be like, oh yeah, why did I stop doing that?
That's great.
And then I can choose to put it back into my plan. So it really is like having a diary. If we keep a daily diary, you can go back in your life and say, oh yeah, I forgot we did that. We should go back to that restaurant or whatever. It's kind of that same idea, because it's gone from your mind if you don't write it down.
And was it...
I have a consultant at work who said that which is measured tends to improve, right?
Yep, yep.
It's not a famous quote. And if you don't write it down and keep track of it, how do you improve it?
And so, would you write daily?
No. I have a calendar, and I mark on the calendar what milestones, and then at the end of the year, in December...
No. Let me go back. I want to go back to... when do you write in your journal? After you spoke?
No, I don't write in the journal. It's a piece of paper that's typed up, and I do it at the end of the year. So, like right now, I would pull my calendar and I would say, what was the milestones of 2017? And I would begin to type it out. So, like right now, I'm looking at 2003 is in front of me. And it says January 2003, and in typed words it says fragmented thinking takes over the entire year, trying to balance real world, career cafe, and children's schedules. That's a journal entry. That's what was going through my head. None of that makes any sense to you, but it makes sense to me.
Wait, but I want to just go back for a second. So the journal, was it a bound book, or was it things that you typed in and then put in some kind of a folder or some kind of a 3-ring binder?
Yeah, it's a typed Word doc.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now. It gets 3-hole punched, and it's nothing fancy. 3-hole punch into a binder.
Okay.
It's just a Word doc on my computer.
All right. So now, during the year, like let's say yesterday you had a speaking gig, and let's say this is 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So yesterday you had a speaking gig. When do you make an entry that you then put in this quote diary?
In December.
So you only.
Okay, so listen, I only create this page in the Word doc all at one time, in one day. And I do not record every single booking. I have a written calendar that I keep. So if you want me to tell you every place I spoke in 2005, I would have to go pull that paper calendar out of a drawer.
But you don't do an assessment after each speaking engagement saying, I mean, you said that you would review and say, why am I not doing that? But if you're waiting till December, aren't you going to forget the things that you've done that year?
They're broader stroke thoughts. So they aren't the minutia of here's what happened yesterday. I would look at, so let's just pretend today's the day I'm doing it. Okay,
yep.
Right now, I'm turning my calendar over and I'm looking at January of 2017. I have not recorded anything. I'm looking at my paper calendar and I spoke 5 times in January of 2017. So I would look at those and by memory, I would go, okay, what did I learn about these? So it is reflective. Maybe that's a better way to put it. It is a reflective 1-page or 2-page journal entry of year in review. That would be a better way to describe it. So here's an example right here. So on January 18th, I spoke for South Dakota Tourism. That was a kick-ass booking. And what I learned from it is I really should be drilling down into the tourism field. They love me. I've got creative ideas. Like, that's not an industry I've tapped into. So for next year's market plan, I might write down bank on, or what would you call that?
Pursue
tourism, promoting the fact that South Dakota was a hit. That's what my note would say. So then maybe March and April of 2018, I go, you know what? If they love me in South Dakota, they might love me in Kansas. And Kansas has a tourism association too. So it is to me a year in review that's done in December that is not only reflective of the year I just finished, but it is helping me get my brain in place for the following year.
I got it. Okay. And in going back to your plan, do you have so what are the objectives in the plan? Is it an income objective or?
Yeah, so I said 3-tiered income objective every year. The first baseline is this is the bare minimum I have to earn for the year in order to consider myself in business. It's a bare minimum. If I don't make that amount of money, then I need to be looking for another job.
Okay.
Okay, the next level up is my goal number, which is lofty but attainable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my dream number that I'm not going to reach, but I like to see the bar on the grid so I can keep reaching for it. So for me, that's $1 million mark. That's my dream goal. But I have no aspirations that I'm going to hit $1 million in 2018.
Okay.
But I want to see the line.
Okay. So this in your plan, you have an objective.
Yep.
Then what else?
I have an objective of that. I also have I have it right here, how much I want to sell in product, and that's going to change every year depending on what I'm rolling out. And then I also have a goal of how many times I want to speak. So I used to say I want to speak 60 times a year. I have started to change that a little bit, and now I would rather meet my income goal in about 50 times per year.
Got it. Okay. What else do you have on?
That's it. That's all that's on it. I mean, in terms of financial goals. Okay.
Then what's the other? So let's call that objectives, financial objectives.
Okay.
What are the other big categories?
Well, my other big categories is what am I chasing? So, like for 2018, I'm really going to drill into the insurance industry because I've had some good track where I didn't even know that was my world or could be my world. And the last 2 years, I've had some significant insurance clients. So as I've been working on my market plan, I'm thinking, all right, I need to drill down better on that and maybe let a different industry go. Like, I really don't like municipalities. And I'd rather never go into I don't want to talk to the treasurers and the, guys who plow the snow, whatever you call that. We call it municipalities in my world. I don't like that audience. So I want to actively say no to those requests, but I want to replace it with something I enjoy more and pays. And in this case, I've decided for me it's the insurance industry. So I would define that as my other goal is target market.
Got it.
Who am I going for?
Got it. What's the next category? That's
about it. I don't really have anything else in front of me that's on the goal sheet.
Do you have anything so that was the target market. Do you have marketing goals, like you're going to update your video, your website?
No, in my head I do, and it's very fragmented, and I rarely follow through on what I thought I was going to do. So I would say I'm very lacking in that area. That sure sounds good, but the honesty is I don't do it.
Okay, all right. So it's not too onerous to come up with your year in review.
Correct. It is not. It's a one-page, and it's really kind of it would be exactly what I'd say to you if you said, hey, Laurie, tell me about your 2017. What were your milestones in 2017? What are you thinking about? What didn't go well? And whatever I would say to you, that's really what this journal entry looks like.
And
I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just the page I'm looking at right now is 2003, and my journal entry just says, this is the year I started my income goal tracking sheet. Helps keep focused on money needed. Income level for this year was wonderful due to retainer and several large jobs. However, energy, focus, and time is stretched to its limits, blah, blah, blah. So you see how that sounds like a journal?
Yeah, so you first have like an overview paragraph / reflection.
Exactly. Personal balance must be the focus for 2004.
So
this year I realized that product sale would not climb to the level I anticipated in 1998. However, the number of lectures and the amount I am charging for each lecture has financially compensated for the off-target result of the product sales. So it's really a year in review, very editorial.
So it's really two parts. One is the looking back, and the other is looking forward.
Correct. Exactly what it looks like.
Okay, all right, that's great. Okay, so let me just let me move on to a different area. I knew this conversation was going to probably be in two parts, but anyway, we'll try to cover it all in this talk. So, if you think of speaking mastery on the platform, who would, on a scale of 1 to 10, who would be your 10?
Mark Scherenbrock.
Okay. And how would you rate yourself if Mark were a 10?
5, 6.
Okay, I'm going to give you a 6. What have you done to perfect your delivery? Speaking coach, whatever.
I have invested in story crafting with Kelly Swanson, quite a bit of money in that. How to be a better storyteller. I also invested in Scherenbrock, so I don't know if that's what the question is. I have invested dollars in NSA colleagues to help me be better.
And how was Mark's boot camp? I know you went to that.
It was very good. What I got out of it was I was in a room full of a small room of high-level speakers, and everybody was treating each other like equals. There wasn't a pecking order. I don't know that Mark is necessarily a teacher. Eric's the teacher. Mark is the performer.
Yeah.
And so I went away with two key things that helped me, but the training didn't rock my world, but breathing their air rocked my world.
Yeah, I've heard, I haven't heard great things about the boot camp. This is at a personal level. I've heard things like, they reassured or affirmed what I was doing, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So somebody mentioned to me if there's like 4 places you can use a speaking coach. One for speaking, one for your story, one for your keynote arc, and one for your business of speaking.
That's good.
Okay, you like that. Okay, all right. Okay, let me move on.
But that's really true. And those are 4 distinct talents. Those need to come from 4 different groups or people or boot camps or whatever. I think that's very good.
Do you have a suggestion on who you would recommend in each of those?
Not from experience, only from gut. So that's kind of interesting because if you haven't experienced it, you're basing it on how you feel about the person more than your personal experience. So for story crafting, I'm a Kelly Swanson fan. I think she really knows how to craft a story. I love Sharon Brock's storytelling ability, but his ability to teach me how to do it is not there.
Yeah, and the keynote arc?
I think, I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard that, who is it that's really good at this? Is Doug Stevenson a storytelling arc person? He might be.
Oh, I have not heard of that name.
This is all on hearsay, so I don't even know that should count.
Okay.
I've not paid for any other coaching.
I have heard Lou Heckler.
Oh, yes. He would be fabulous. I have no doubt in my mind. In fact, he's on my dream list. If I can afford to go to him someday, I will.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Just so you know, offline, I have Lou helping me with, I send him a videotape. And for $250, he'll review it over the phone and on a Skype with me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's a lot better than his whatever $6,000 or $4,000 that you just might want to just put that in the back of your mind. And how about the business of speaking?
I think Mark LeBlanc is genius.
And what does he focus on?
Small business sales, like I've never been coached by him, but many of my friends have, and they swear by him. He keeps you accountable. He makes you track things. He helps you make smart decisions to stay on your numbers.
Okay.
Only heard great things about Mark.
Okay, let me move on. Let me just stay here for a second. So if a speaker has an okay delivery, what advice would you give them to master their delivery?
Watch others and practice more.
And practice by yourself or in front of an audience?
Both, but I think you got to practice on your feet in your own home. You need to practice your stuff and not just show up and wing it. So when I said practice it, I meant at home.
Okay. So now I'm moving to content.
All right.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, if Peter Drucker in management were a 10 or Deming in quality were a 10, how would you rate your content expertise in your area?
A 7.
Okay. Have you read all the books on your topic? If 1 is you don't read and 10 is you read everything on your topic.
Oh, I'm about a 2.
Okay. Have you done original research in your topic area? So if 1 would be no research and 10 would be years of formal research, how would you rate yourself?
A 1.
Okay. How important was your book to your success? From 1 is nothing to 10 could not have done it without the book. Or books.
Very low. I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay. All right. So, let me just see here. You determined your ideal audience from, this is experience from your old job?
Yes.
Okay, I think you asked me this question, but I'm going to ask it back to you. So, what did you do? What do you do to turn speaker bureau holds into firm bookings?
Specifically, speaker bureau holds.
Specifically, speaker bureau holds. First of all, what percent of your business is speaker bureau?
68 right now.
Okay. All right, so what do you do to turn holds into firm bookings?
I don't. That's a weird question because I don't do anything. I do stuff to turn my own holds into bookings, but speaker bureaus, I'm completely at their mercy. I don't do anything to turn a hold. So I call and say, has this one converted? And they say yes, or they say release it. So I have no strategy for that.
So I'll just share with you what some of these other speakers have told me in this review. It's just for your own interest. So they do one of a couple of things. Sometimes they'll ask, what industry is it in? They'll try to get a few more specifics, and they'll send testimonials specifically from that industry.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know what you meant. Okay, that question was worded weird. That's to me what I do to get the hold. That's how I get them to want me in the first place. I thought you meant, okay, so we've had this, you're the bureau, we've already talked about this booking, I've given you stuff to help close the booking, and now you put a hold on my calendar because the client might want me. I thought you meant, how do I get that hold to turn into a booking?
Well, so the speakers that I have talked to, they could have 50% of their holds or more not materialize because they're looking at several speakers. Maybe you don't have that problem. Maybe
they aren't doing their job on the front end, so maybe they get held differently. All right, so let's pull this apart. If a bureau just reaches out, like Nationally Speaking in Minnesota does this all the time, and it drives me crazy. They throw 3 of us out as possibilities, so all 3 of us have to put our holds on the calendar.
Exactly.
Okay, I do nothing to convert those.
Huh.
I'm still back to my do nothing, although what you just said is really smart. I do not do that. With other bureaus, let's say Capital City, they'll call and say, hey, we got the Illinois Bankers Association that's taking a look at you. Do you have this date open? What program would you like to propose to them? That's when I send a customized course description, the testimonials you're talking about, a personal note to them. Like I do a bunch of stuff in the sales process if the bureau tells me who the client is. But if they just write to me and email me and say, hold November 15th, we've got a client in Minnesota that might want you, I have not done a thing to try and close those. So that's really good.
Okay, and what some other speakers have told me, and these are like $1 million speakers, they say, we try to get the Speakers Bureau to arrange to let me talk to the client.
Perfect. Genius. Okay. That's excellent advice.
Okay, all right. So now I'm going on. I really don't think I need this from you, but anyway, I've asked everybody else. So if you look at, you know what? I'm gonna skip that.
The same questions you asked everybody else.
Okay, all right. So
we'll go through them quickly. I just want to hear what everybody else got to ask.
Okay, all right. So this is a graph.
All right.
On the horizontal are years from 1 to 20.
Okay.
On the vertical is gross speaking revenue.
Okay.
And the idea was that there was a hockey stick phenomenon in people's business, and I was trying to find out where was that speaking business and where was that inflection and what did a speaker do to get there. And okay, so if you look at, if say the first year is 1996
in my opinion.
Okay, in 1996, and you made $11,000 in 96, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then in 97, what is it?
I'd have to pull it up. Every year has gone up. I have a completely diagonal graph going up, and then a sharp increase in 2015.
Fine, so let's just do the 2015. So in 2014, what was it?
What was the number in 2014?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let me dig it out.
Okay. So I just need the number in 2014 and the number in 2015.
Okay. Well, it jumped from, and this is going to be, that sheet is not in front of me. I'm going to say it went from 97,000, and it did a high jump to, I think we brought in another 80 or 90. So I'm going to say we had an $80,000 jump.
So what is that? So to 180.
Yeah.
So what caused that jump?
A large contract that I closed.
And how did you close that?
I was really excited about that. I was asked by the Speakers Bureau to do a single keynote for an insurance company. And while I was at that event, I met with a guy who is in charge of the training, or in charge of this one division, and he told me that they've been thinking about doing a road show where they would find a speaker and they would go out to every single one of the states that they cover, which is 18 states. And he's telling me about it just chit-chatting. And I said, well, when I give my program today, if you like my work, I would like to be that person. So my answer is I boldly asked for the 18-state contract. And he said, send a proposal. And I talked the Bureau into doing 3-tiered pricing. And the insurance company picked the middle package. And it turned into an 18-state tour.
Okay, so let me go back. So you met with this person, the person in training, before your talk.
Back of the room, just at the back of the room. Nothing fancy.
Wait. Well, hold on. So this was before your talk, the day before, right before?
Before my talk. This is 10 minutes before I talked. Back of the room before I went on stage.
And so you sought this person out? Was it a strategic thing or just...
No, we were having coffee. And he's the one who volunteered to me that he's been thinking that this thing they were doing, this show they were doing, would be really good if they took it on the road. And my pivot point, why I had the jump, is I was bold enough to say to him, if you like my work...
I got it. I got that part. I'm trying to get to the before you got to that.
All right.
So now you're just getting ready. You're socializing in the room before your talk, right?
Correct.
And this person comes over to the... Just tell me that scenario, that situation, will you?
He came over with a cup of coffee and was visiting with me about what the day was going to be like. And in the course of that conversation, just off the cuff mentioned he'd like to do something like this on the road.
Okay.
It was a conversation. It was not a sales pitch. It wasn't a formal meeting. It was chit-chat over coffee.
So if you would try to make what happened there an explicit part of your strategy, could you, and what would you do?
If I was going to try and repeat it, I would specifically ask for a meetup or a FaceTime with the person in charge of training, or the person in charge of marketing, or HR, or whatever it fell. I would be more assertive in asking for FaceTime with the decision maker.
Or at a minimum, before the talk, to find out who is in charge of HR or training, right?
Correct.
So you could look for that person at the event.
Correct.
Okay, all right, that's good, very interesting. Okay, let me move on. I think this actually was your question. Regarding pricing, what % of the time do you get your full fee?
Good question.
Yeah, it was your question.
I know, it's a great question. Because I'd love if people would be honest. I would say 75% of the time, I get my full fee. So
you want to know something? What I found was I'm preparing a presentation. I have a breakout session proposal in. I'm hoping Brian's going to pull some strings to make sure that they pick it for influence. But on one of the slides, I've already been preparing the presentation, and on one of the slides, there are like 17 takeaways from this research. And one of the takeaways, number 12, is fee integrity. And on that slide, I say bullshit. Okay?
That's fantastic.
It is like...
I am actually very close friends with the two people that are choosing the breakouts. I'll write to them today.
Oh, good.
And that they should earmark you to give serious... I can't tell them to pick you, but I can say, I know this guy. His research is fantastic. You need to give him 2 glances, and we'll see if we can get you in.
Good. Okay, so what % of the time do you speak for no fee?
Outside of NSA, 0.
Okay, so I'm going to say NSA. So let's say you're doing now 50 gigs a year. Of the 50, how many are NSA?
Oh, I don't count those as my 50. So gosh, that's a great question.
It was also your question.
I say 50 gigs. I mean 50 paid gigs.
Okay, so how many? So then add the non-paid gigs, which I guess are NSA, and then how many do you do?
Phasing them out. So some years I've done 20. This year I did 4. So let's say that I speak 4 times a year for NSA.
So that's so it's about